The tragic event took place on the 26th of August 1991. It happened on a Monday at Downers Grove, Illinois, becoming a true nightmare of terror. Because Mary Teresa Watts Tiller was walking with her lawyer, discussing her divorce case that she'd recently filed. To the left, you can see a stationary train, waiting for passengers to either disembark or board. The problem was it clearly blocked the view of people like this woman, who checked if it was safe to cross but sensed the danger, deciding against it. Mary and her lawyer came to that crossing, and even though the horn was audibly sounded, they crossed the track. On the next track over, an E9 locomotive was approaching at 60 miles an hour, striking and killing the unfortunate lady. The whole thing was captured on video by a railway enthusiast who was out of sight just to the right of the incident. This man was filming the E9s as they were in their final days of service. While doing that, he captured the entire scene. However, the lawyer escaped death by barely a few inches as he stepped back just in time, whereas Mary wasn't so lucky, as she inadvertently ran into the speeding train during the late afternoon of that fateful Monday. Her body was thrown from the front of the train directly towards the man who was doing the filming, knocking his tripod over, while simultaneously breaking his leg due to the force of the impact. Incidentally, the cameraman was there with his grandson, who witnessed everything. The only fortunate outcome was this: Mary instantly died. The 41-year-old was actually heading to an office to meet her then husband to get the divorce papers signed, required by law to end their marriage. That particular day was supposed to be the beginning of a new future, a future which was snatched away from her literally within seconds. She would never return to her home in Chicago, where she had 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. The girl shared her name. All of this was lost due to an error in concentration. At the time she was hit, Mary was no doubt preoccupied with starting her new life. Trains were then delayed at the station when the police ordered the driver to reverse his unit. They wanted to recreate the accident. This meant that the terribly shocked and possibly traumatized man had to work in plain sight of this poor deceased woman who was still lying dead on the ground. But he was so seriously affected by what happened, he had to be relieved of his duties. The train in question was the Burlington Northern E9 locomotive, number 9912, which continued on in service until it eventually retired. Thereafter, it was purchased by the Tennessee Central Railway in Nashville, before being moved to the area as their lead locomotive power for a proposed commuter train. Prior to that operation taking place though, my understanding is that they made a decision to instead go with the Amtrak F40 locomotives, leaving the 9912 just sitting there, as seen here, rusting away at Tennessee Central Railway Museum, where it's been inactive for a number of years. In the meantime, it's been heavily damaged by trespassers in the area. Whether there are plans or not to one day restore this unit, the unit that killed Mary, is unknown. But what isn't unknown is that this infamous train left a nightmare of horror behind in August of 1991. However, I sincerely hope that Mary is resting in peace.